You guys, today's video is one that I am so excited to film because today we're going to talk about some eyeshadow palettes. So I've done this version of a video on my channel several times. I think I've done it for the past couple of years, and I like to call it shopping your stash for fall palettes. Now, I feel like spring and summer I'm usually okay on. Like, spring palettes come out, summer palettes come out, I'm like, yeah, you're pretty, but I have similar shades, I don't need you. But something about fall palettes really just call my name. They pull me in, and I usually end up picking up like 1 or 2 or 3 new ones every single year. This year I am on a no buy. If you guys haven't seen that intro video, I can link it down below. So obviously I will not be purchasing any new palettes, but I'm actually really excited to just kind of dig into some old beautiful fall palettes and create some really pretty warm, yummy, rich looks with them. To me, a fall palette is really like deep, rich, warm neutrals, but I did try to throw in some other like just more like general cool tone, not cool tone, but like more neutral leaning jewel tones, not necessarily warm tones, because I know not everyone's on board with warm tones, but they are my favorite, so I did include quite a few in here. I did kind of try to switch things up with this year's video because I feel like the past 2 years when I've done this, I've mentioned very similar palettes, so I tried to switch things up. I tried not to include like the same old boring fall palettes, and I hope that you guys are as excited to kind of reminisce and shop your stash with me, so let's hop into it. Alright you guys, so a few of the palettes in here are new-ish, but they're not brand spanking new. And the one that I'm mainly talking about is the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. You're probably looking at this palette and you're like, Sydney, that is a summer palette. And I would agree, but I think it is the perfect summer to fall transition palette. If you just cover up like these bright pops of color right here, I think this could create some really beautiful rich looks. You can go the warm tone route, you can play with some of these cool tones right here. I just feel like this palette has a lot of potential, and it's not one that I'm just going to be putting away because summer is over, even though it's more of a summery palette, but I think it is just absolutely gorgeous. And I don't think you guys should put it away either because it has the potential to create some gorgeous, rich, deep fall looks. This next one I feel like could also fall under that summer to fall transition palette category, and that is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. You guys, look at how beautiful these super saturated, vibrant, warm tones are. I have just like fallen in love with this palette this past summer. I created so many gorgeous, rich, warm looks, and I am so excited to do that in the fall. I think I might pull in like a couple companion palettes with this one to deepen it up just a little bit. It does have this shade right here, Clove, to deepen it up, but that's like the only deepener shade in here. So I think this is going to be a great companion palette to some of the other palettes that I'm going to mention for some of those really saturated, intense, warm tones. Okay you guys, this next palette I feel like is the quintessential fall palette, and that is the Whatever palette from Colourpop. This was actually a gift given to me last Christmas, and at that point I was kind of like not out of the fall tones, but I just wasn't quite as excited to wear them as I am right now. But I think this is so incredibly beautiful, you guys. You've got the beautiful orangey tones, you got that beautiful red, 2 burgundy shadows, gorgeous coppery tones, and that pressed glitter right there. I know some people are pretty anti-pressed glitter, but I think that one's kind of fun. This gorgeous gold shade. I can see so many delicious, yummy, warm. I feel like I'm just gonna say delicious, yummy, warm fall looks like 300 times in this video. I'll try to come up with some better descriptors, but I see so many gorgeous looks coming out of this palette, and it just makes me want to run into my closet and put on my sweater, my little boots, and sweat my butt off because it's still 80 degrees outside. Maybe if you guys are thinking, you know what, I'm kind of ready for fall, but I'm a little bit over those classic warm, orangey, warm neutral tones, and to that I would say pull out your Menagerie Killer Purr palette. This is such a fun palette, you guys. I've seen so many people compare this to Subculture, and I definitely do feel like there's some similarities in the color story, but I just love this take on fall. You do have a couple of the warm orangey neutrals, not as much as that last palette that I mentioned, but it's got those beautiful yellowy mustard tones. You've got some green, some blue, some deep, rich, like plummy brown. I think this palette is so fun if you like more gold tones versus more orangey tones. This one would definitely appeal a little bit more to you, and if you're like, kind of want a little color in the fall still, but I don't want to do like bright shades, I think this is another great palette for you because I feel like it makes these colors really easy and wearable. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're like, I'm ready for fall but I don't want to give up color, I would say that you should pull out the Ace Beauté Flare palette. You guys, I got this last Black Friday, I think, in their sale, and I have adored the color story so much. I feel like this lends itself so beautifully to fall. You've got this gorgeous warm neutral row. I mean, half of these are warm neutrals as well, but everything is very vibrant, very saturated, and then you've got these really fun blues and greens right here that pair so beautifully with those tones and can create a really beautiful jewel tone look. I'm just so excited to dip into this palette and create some fall looks for you guys. It makes my heart happy. I'm so happy. Okay, I feel like this next one is cheating just a little bit, but I'm including it because it's kind of a double duty palette. So the palette that I'm talking about is the Artemis palette from Alter Ego. This is a pretty darn new palette to their range. I think it's been out for like maybe a month at this point, but I couldn't not include it, you guys. This one's kind of double duty for the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette because this is like pretty much an exact dupe of that palette. So if you have the Metropolis palette, definitely pull that out. This is its time of year to shine. And I just think this color story is so beautiful. It has your gorgeous staple warm neutrals. You've got those beautiful super metallic jewel tones and some really nice like deep blue and deep green mattes to deepen up a look without taking it in that neutral direction. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. If you guys want to see swatches of this palette, I did do a first impressions video on it, so I can link that down below if you're interested. I haven't done a speedy reviews update on this one, but I'm planning on doing it in the next couple of weeks, so definitely keep your eye out for that. Alright, you guys, next up we've got the Jackie Aina palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This palette has so many beautiful, rich tones. I feel like these tones lean a little bit more berry than the other palettes that we've chatted about, and I personally love that. I love a good berry eye in the fall. It just makes me feel so cozy, and I love how it looks in my blue eyes. I got this last winter and I created a lot of really gorgeous looks with it, but I am so excited for this palette to have its time to shine in the fall. I think I can create so many rich, gorgeous, saturated looks with it. Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna mention like those quintessential fall palettes that everyone talks about every single year, but I could not resist mentioning this one, and it's Good Sport from Colourpop. So I believe they finally discontinued this palette. It was available for a very long time, but they finally discontinued it, but I just love the color story of this one, you guys. It's so unique. It's a perfect blend of like neutrals and pops of color, and it just plays so well together. I was playing with this palette the other night just for kind of like some makeup playtime, and I created such gorgeous looks that I'm like, I need to wear those like ASAP, like all day, and I so enjoyed it. Since this palette is no longer available, I had the idea to create like a, I want to say like a duped but better, but like a duped but extended version of this palette. If you guys would be interested in seeing that. I really love the curated version of this color story, but I would also love to kind of dive into my singles and see kind of how I could expand it and make it my own. So if you guys want to see that, definitely let me know. That'd probably be something I'd post over on my Instagram. Okay, you guys, this next palette is for my jewel tone lovers out there, and that is the Kaleido Cosmetics Identity 2 palette. This palette is chock full of those beautiful essential mattes that you need and so many gorgeous kind of deep metallic jewel tone shadows. If I was creating like a 10-second, okay, not 10-second, like a 5-minute smoky eye, this would be the palette that I would reach into. It has beautiful mid-tone mattes and then some gorgeous, like just gorgeous metallic jewel tone shades that you can just throw all over your lid and run out the door and be done and be like grungy and smoky and just beautiful. This is a super duper easy palette to use, and I really enjoy Persona's shadow formula. Okay guys, this next palette is like my guiltiest purchase of 2019, I would say, or like my most ridiculous purchase of 2019, and that is the Frozen 2 on a palette from Colourpop. I saw Frozen 2 in theaters. I like freaked out and went to go see it like 3 more times, and then when I saw this palette in Ulta, I was like, I just need it. And it is a gorgeous palette, you guys, and I feel like these tones are absolutely gorgeous for fall. You've got that beautiful mustard tone, this gorgeous like deep peach. You've got that gorgeous plum right there, your nice dark brown, some gorgeous mid-tone shades to slap over the lid. Easy fall looks right here. Okay, the next palette is one that I know I've raved about before, but I feel like it does not get enough love, and I know that some of you purchased it when it came out. I don't think it's available anymore, but it's the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. This has the most gorgeous color scheme. I feel like it's beautifully balanced between neutrals and some pops of color and cool toned and warm tones. It's just like a treasure trove of looks. You could create so many looks with this palette, and some of them would be beautifully saturated looks for fall. I adore the pops of color that they decided to include in here. There's like a gorgeous like corally shade, a deep burgundy, a metallic burgundy, a beautiful chartreuse shade. I adore that shade so much. I think it adds a lot of brightness to any look, and it's just a fantastic palette, and I really do enjoy the formula. Alright, you guys, we are down to 2 palettes. I know this video is getting a little bit long, but I just love talking about eyeshadow. So the first one is definitely one for the color lovers who are looking for some fall palette inspo to shop their stash for, and that is the Arcana palette from Shroud Cosmetics. I believe this one's been out for 2 years, maybe 3 years. I recently got my hands on this palette and I am just in love with it. It is so beautiful. I will say though that these shades are a little bit deeper than they appear in the pan, so just forewarning, if you guys have a lighter skin tone like I do, you might need to pull in another palette to kind of help things blend out and buff out a little bit nicer. But the color story and the shades that are in here are incredible, you guys. I really enjoy Shroud's formula, and I'm so excited to create some really gorgeous jewel tone looks with this palette. Alright, you guys, the last palette that I'm going to mention I feel like needs no introduction because I feel like it's been like the palette of the summer, and that is the Sigma Qrosa palette. I totally fell into the hype with this one and I was like, it's a warm neutral palette. I just need it. I'm a warm neutral junkie, and I feel like this is like the most gorgeous, there goes the brush, updated version of warm neutrals. I loved so much playing with like this beautiful bright pink and that beautiful peach over the summer. But there are all these gorgeous, like, richer, more mid-tone shades. This shade would be the most beautiful smoky eye. Oh my goodness. And I'm so excited to kind of deepen things up and see where else I can take this palette now that the weather's starting to get a little bit cooler and fall makeup is upon us. But I think that's finally it, you guys. I honestly had like 5 more palettes that I could have shared with you. Eyeshadow is my absolute favorite thing to talk about, and when we're talking about like warm eyeshadow, jewel toned eyeshadow, it makes me really happy. This is not the end of fall eyeshadow on my channel. I am planning on sharing a like curated fall singles palette video like I did for spring and summer, so definitely keep your eye out for that. I think I'm gonna do one for fall and then one for Halloween. I didn't do a Halloween one last year. Did I do a fall one last year? I don't know. But I'm hoping to do some more single shadow videos soon for you guys. But I think that's gonna wrap it up today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me in a comment down below what fall palette you are pulling out of your stash to play with this year. Is it something that you purchased over the summer? Is it something that you purchased last year or several years ago? I would love to chat about it with you down below. But that's gonna wrap it up for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.